Who could this mysterious person in the woods be? You might recognise a certain family resemblance, having met a boy who she kind of hates, right? She hates him, but he's kind of cute even though she hates him because he's stupid and dumb and she doesn't like him, no. And with that, we are at level 9.
Hello from the void, it's Rose, welcome back to my channel and the apocalypse. I'm pretty excited because we are properly into the story I have had planned for ages and ages and ages. Last week we were focused in on having a very important introduction happen in Henford on Bagley. If you haven't seen that, I'd suggest going back, otherwise this might not make a whole lot of sense, but you can have a go anyway. This episode we are going to be focusing on our Gen 1 heroine Eden, and 2 things she needs to do. One is a story thing, which I can't tell you about, but if you watch you'll find out very, very soon. And number 2 is herbalism. We need to max that skill, and it's been going so slowly with books that I honestly cannot tolerate continuing. So we are going to be sending her to Granite Falls to collect some plants and some insects so that hopefully that speeds along. And that's all really there is to say. Let's go do the thing.
It's the morning after the fair and Eden is up and at 'em pretty early, I think because she has a lot in her mind. So yesterday was about making sure that her kids A, behaved themselves in Henford, but also that they had the basic skills they needed to survive should anything happen to her. And by something I do of course mean a monstrously large plant. I still don't know how dangerous fighting that thing is. I assume not super dangerous because this is The Sims after all. But she's now working through what else needs to happen in her life, just in case. And the next thing that she needs to do therefore is to head on back to Granite Falls. And as I mentioned in the intro, we are going to be collecting some plants and insects to hopefully accelerate herbalism, but we do also have another reason for heading back to the forest. So we are going to be leaving the kids behind on this occasion. We're probably not going to be gone for a whole 2 days, and I feel like it's a good test of how well they cope, but we will need to stay at least overnight in order that the plants bloom again, because I do want to try and get as many of the plants we need for potions as possible. And at the moment we're not doing brilliantly, there's not much around, and as anyone that has done this aspiration can tell you, it is really hard to find things. You spend a lot of time just staring at pixel floors and hoping for the best. The other nice thing about being away is I can have the kids' skill in the background, so Callow just got to level 4 of fitness, and Eden's found some poison fire leaves and some other things as she works her way through the forest. Ooh, some firebugs over there, go grab those. I really hope that the herbalism will accelerate with the correct ingredients, because I don't actually think she's gaining any skill from the skill books, which feels like it must be glitched, but I don't know. Anyway, we're going to get everything we can from the whatever this part is called. I know the next part's called the Deep Woods, and Henford has the Tanglewoods, just the regular woods. We're in the regular woods, and once we've caught these katydids, okay. Oh, that just makes me think of what Katie did next. Oh. Anyway, we are going to be heading back on through the thicket into what I believe is called the Deep Woods, and anyone that's been watching this series for a little while knows that Eden's been to the Deep Woods before, and she had a brief conversation with the hermit who lives here, who is apparently not anywhere around. Little hermit, where you at? I'm looking for you. Nope. Okay. Well, that's frustrating. Where? Oh, is that her over there? Yes, okay, she's over in the creepy little stone garden. And for anyone that's paying close attention, oh great, we've got the no titties glitch again. Boo! But for anyone that's paying close attention, you may notice this hermit doesn't look exactly like the last hermit, so I have actually had to go in and edit her since. But we said last time, who could this mysterious person in the woods be? And looking at her now, for the first time in the face, you might recognise a certain family resemblance. So yes, it is in fact Eden's mother. I think someone in the comments definitely guessed that it was, and indeed it is. So Eden's dad is an underground massive plant, as families go. She's got a pretty weird one, and her mum is a weird paranoid hermit who lives in the arse end of nowhere in Granite Falls. So here we have Hemlock, who is in fact the paranoid mother that the rules require that Eden has. And for the purposes of my story, what we're saying is that she recognised that something was seriously wrong in Strangeville before anything went down, and she fled as far away as possible, and she took her daughter with her, and she raised her here in the middle of nothingness with the sort of level of strictness that would make Kiri and Callow think that actually they have a lot of freedom, which eventually caused Eden as a teenager to have to run away. She lived with it for a while, but ultimately she wanted to know what happened to her dad. She didn't want to be so disconnected from the world. She understands and has inherited her mother's cautiousness, but with a little bit of levity. And Hemlock does not have that levity. For her, it was very much, if you can't live by my rules, you can't live here. Like, if you leave, you can't come back, which is why Eden hasn't come back, except for that one time to kind of tell her mum she was in fact alive and check if she was still alive. But this time she's actually trying to share a little bit with her and say, hey, you know what, actually, I have kids now. I kind of get where you were coming from. And that's actually why I'm here. I've got to do something really dangerous and I've got to clear up Dad's mess. And I'm asking, if anything happens to me, can I tell my kids that you're here? Can I give them a backup plan? I've done everything I can to make them strong and to make sure that they will be able to survive on their own. But I would like for them to have someone in the world that won't hurt them if they need them. And can that be you? And Hemlock is not at all sure. She definitely wouldn't want anything to do with her ex's plans, like even clearing up after it. She doesn't want the outside world in her world. Like, what? I don't know these kids. I don't know. I'm not sure. And Eden's kind of left her to think about it and gone to get some sleep and sort of said, okay, well, I get it. It's a lot of information, but please. And frankly, I mean, Hemlock's thinking about it, but Hemlock is scary. Hemlock looks a little bit like Gollum. If I'm being honest, I forgot I gave her the sort of demon teeth, and with the head turning bug, everything is, yeah, not loving it right now. She is one scary grandma, but she might be one scary grandma that Kiri and Callow need if anything ever happens to Eden. To be very clear, I'm not necessarily planning for anything to happen to Eden, but I'm planning in case anything happens to Eden. I genuinely haven't made that decision yet. And also part of it is down to luck, and however the mother plant fighting thing goes, I just don't know. It's genuinely a mystery to me, and I want to leave it open-ended because, as you know, I love my game to be chaos and to take inspiration from whatever happens. Eden's woken up feeling really, really sad. I think it must be weird for her to be back here where she grew up and in some ways had like quite a happy, sheltered existence, but also to be back in the dynamic with her mum who just doesn't process information in a rational way. She definitely wouldn't recognise any of that same attitude in herself, but like to this point, Hemlock is literally just like walking off. She's like, okay, bye, I'm done now. And Eden's chasing after her to be like, you didn't give me a decision. I need to know if I have somewhere safe I can send them. And I don't need your blessing, I can tell them. And Hemlock's like, well, how can you ask me to make this choice? You betrayed me. You ran away. You said the life I was giving you wasn't good enough. And now you want it for your kids. Like, she's probably spent her entire life grieving to some level. Like, she must be pretty lonely out here on her own. And her kid, like, literally was just like, okay, bye, tapped out. And now she's coming back and asking for something. And Hemlock is not the soundest of women. So yeah, that interaction probably didn't go how either of them wanted it. And I honestly, personally, don't think Hemlock necessarily would have wanted it. Like, she's probably not going to kick the twins out if they ever turn up there, but I wouldn't count on them being welcomed with open and grandmotherly love. But for now, they don't know anything about this. They're just at home doing their chores, milking butterers, picking the fruits, and Eden has come back and she is going to be distracting herself by grinding herbalism. I mean, even if that conversation had gone amazingly well, and to be clear, I didn't make it go badly, they just both have quite a lot of negative traits and don't like each other very much. But yeah, she would be grinding herbalism, whatever. That is going to be her life for the next little while. Callow has finally managed to get back out of the compound. He wasn't allowed out while Eden was gone. He has been locked in to make sure they didn't go to school by accident. But now he can go out and do some gathering. Kiri can hang out with her chicken pals. Eden, keep on making potions. Silver play. It looks like, though, we're about to level up. Yes, thank you. I'm really hoping we have enough stuff to get to level 10. No going and sleeping on a bench for you. Go continue making potions. You got some sleep last night. We are not done with you yet, missus. Thank you very much. But yeah, I don't really want to have to go back to Granite Falls unless I really need to. And yeah, the book do not seem to be working. Speaking of books, Kiri has managed to find a romance novel somewhere, which I am letting her read because she is a romantic sim. And also I like the idea that having met a boy who she kind of hates, right? She hates him, but he's kind of cute even though she hates him because he's stupid and dumb and she doesn't like him, no. She would definitely be reading narratives that maybe perhaps before she was like, that's stupid. Why would you act so irrationally? With a slightly different lens, now she knows someone that isn't related to her. She's like, oh, and I'm having her whisper to Callow about her crush. She's like, what do you think about crushes? Oh, and he has not reacted well. He's like, seriously? I feel like potentially Callow, who has spent years trying to get Kiri to embrace his dreams of a life outside of the compound, would be really incensed by the fact that she's now going after like a classic tropey romance. She's like, oh, isn't it like romantic, the idea of like catching someone's eye and falling in love at first sight? And he's like, I mean, sure, but why would you want that? You know, when there's so much in the world, like love, yeah, sure, but adventure, freedom, ugh. Yeah, I can definitely sense that maybe being the source of why that conversation went so poorly. And all in all, everything is really going perfectly. The tensions are naturally ratcheting up between members of the household. Eden is progressing with her stuff. Our little cow plant is growing up. And really, for the first time, I feel like everything is kind of under control. Eden's goals are pretty much on track to be completed soon. We are lining up the dominoes that I want in place for our story. I feel like the world is my onion, because I don't like oysters. One thing I do find quite amusing is that Kiri has inherited her mother's tendency to get flirty around plants, which I just find quite funny. When Eden arrived in Granite Falls, the second she was in the forest, she was like super flirty. The woman is just horny for trees, what can I say? Great band name, by the way. Horny for trees, trademark, mine, pay me £10 if you want it. Why am I like this? So we are about a day into our really aggressive herbalism, and we are making good progress. We are tracking through level 8, and this is definitely faster than books, thank goodness. Hopefully we don't run out of ingredients before time, although I do know there is a mod so you can make potions without needing insects, so I might put that in if we are right up against it when I am ready with everything else being done. But for the time being, I'm going to get the twins in bed, and I'm going to give Eden a sleep replacement potion so that she can keep on working. And with that, we are at level 9. We have one more level to go. We've got one more level to go. And then we will be going after the mother plant and doing all sorts of fun and exciting things. And honestly, I am really happy with how this first gen of my challenge has turned out. When I wrote Poison Garden, I had no idea I would one day play an apocalypse version, or indeed that I would start a YouTube channel, and I am really enjoying putting this out for you guys, and it seems like some of you are really enjoying watching it too. Honestly, the comments you guys leave are so kind and so meaningful to me, so thank you very much for that. And honestly, okay, we have woken up with Kiri having a wish to flirt with Nerium. The puzzle pieces are all dropping into place. Why am I doing goblin voice? Eden, why are you in the bin? So many questions. Although, if you're going to get in the bin, you might as well clear it out and see if we can get some deals. Thank you, madame. And that seems like head down in trash, an appropriate place to end this episode. In the next one, I don't know exactly what's going to happen. We've got quite a long time till the twins are going to be adults. Ooh, that's an unhappy chicken coop. Let's go clean that. But I think perhaps some sneaking out might be in our future for very different reasons between the two twins. But I think we will leave this episode there with these stinking fetid chickens. And next time we will start to engage in teenage espionage and more herbalism and all of those good things. All that's left is for me to say thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, think about subscribing or just give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video. Love you, bye!